Magic doesn't just happen, it's built. Because the real secret to delivering magic is first experiencing it yourself. Welcome to the Cody Hofhine Show, the place for entrepreneurs who want more clarity, more alignment, and more meaning in their business and in their lives. Together, we'll explore the habits, the mindsets, and the decisions that create real success at work and at home. So let's get right to it. Magic to me is intentional moments. Moments you design on purpose to make people feel seen, valued, and alive. You don't wait for magical moments to happen. You create them. You become a builder of magic. And I want to give you an example. You could go to 5 basketball games, right? And sit on, let's say, the 50th row. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'm at my favorite team. I'm at a basketball game. This is going to be amazing. But you're on just mediocre seats. You're on the 50th row. Now, you might have a mindset of, well, just be grateful for what you have. Guys, let's get past that mindset right now. We're not talking about being grateful. I love gratitude, and that should be part of who you are and what you do each and every day. But at the end of the day, 50th row, it's just kind of meh. It's just kind of in the crowd, like mediocre seats. Or to experience magic, you could, instead of going to those 5 games on the 50th row, just go to 1 game, but sit on the front row. Because when you sit on the front row, you feel the game, right? You hear the squeaking of the shoes. You hear the bouncing of the ball, the words between the players, right? The chatter going back and forth. You eat the best food. You don't go eat the popcorn and the hot dogs, right? You get taken underground to this private, small area, like great food. You meet the people who make the night unforgettable. That, my friends, is what I'm talking about when I say magic. And when you experience magic like that, at that level, you start to learn how to deliver it. One of the most powerful lessons I think I've ever learned about delivering magic, this is probably about 5 years ago, is on our anniversary. I'm with my wife, Wendy. We went to a steakhouse, and we were here in Salt Lake City. And from the moment we walked in, something was different. The hostess just didn't ask for our name. Like, hey, what's your name? Cool. How many is going to be with us tonight? Like, that's typical, right, of a host. She asked, is there anything special about tonight? We said, yeah, it's our anniversary. And she smiled and says, then I want to give you a table with the best view of the city. And I'm looking at Wendy like, wow, like this is already pretty cool, right? That alone felt special. It felt like we were seen, that we were heard, and they want to make something nice for us tonight. But it didn't stop there. I noticed a man setting tables, and each time he'd do this, if you're like watching me live on YouTube, for example, he would lift up the plates and he'd look at the bottom and he'd spin the plate and then he'd set it down. And then he'd go to the next placemat and he'd lift the plate and look at the bottom of the plate, spin it, and then set it down on the placemat. And I just kept seeing this over and over again. So I asked the server, hey, dude, what is he doing? And he said, our crest. Like our company crest is stamped on the bottom of every plate. We make sure it's all facing the right direction. And I was kind of like confused by it. I'm like, but I didn't even know there was a crest on the bottom of your plate. Like, I didn't even know it was there. So why does it matter if it's faced the right direction? He says, because if we can get the small things right, we'll get the big things right too. That's when it hit me. That's when I was like, oh my gosh. Not only did they ask, hey, is there anything special about tonight? Yeah, it's our anniversary. Then I'm watching this individual spin plates to put them perfect when you can't even see the crest that's on the bottom of the plate. Right? Magic, it lives in the details. They brought out our tomahawk steak. It was an off-menu item because when we were ordering, he's like, the chef wants to do something special, something off-menu tonight. And the tomahawk steaks were for another night. He cooked up a tomahawk steak for us. And he said, paired with this tomahawk steak, here's what he's saying would be the good sides to go with it, right? So he brought us this off-menu stuff. And then here was the best part. At the end, it was really, really good. Like, when I say really good, the food was so good. And at the end, he says, hey, do you guys want dessert? And me and Wendy kind of looked at each other like, I don't know. We're debating. Like, we're pretty full from the food. It was so good. And he says, hey, tonight, though, this dessert's on the house. And I just sat there. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is this so good tonight? Like, why are they being so good to us? And from there, he's like, hey, what do you want? We looked at it. He says, our creme brulee, by the way, is phenomenal. And I'm like, me and Wendy aren't creme brulee. Please forgive me for this. We're not creme brulee fans. And he says, okay, what would you like? And we looked at it, and there was this simple one that said banana pudding. And he says, you know what? Our banana bread pudding, It's so good. Like, it's really, really good. However, I don't think we've figured out the presentation on the plate of the bread pudding. And I'm looking at Wendy like, oh my gosh, like, who is this guy? This is so unbelievably well. And he says, can I recommend the strawberry cheesecake? Like, we have our own little strawberry spread that goes on top. You will experience an incredible bite. And we said, yes, we can do that. You guys, we left that night completely inspired. And I said to Wendy, I want to do this for people. I want to deliver magic. I want people to taste and experience what I tasted and experienced. Now, I don't want to be a chef. I don't want to deliver food, but I want people to experience what me and Wendy experienced that night. I was so inspired of what they did for me that I wanted to now carry it out and do it for anyone else. Now, that experience changed how I led my team and my company going forward. At Joe Homebuyer, we decided to start holding 3% of profit from every deal. Not for marketing, not for bonuses, but for magic. Every year, we take our entire team and their plus ones on an all expense paid trip. Sometimes it's 5 days, sometimes it's 10 days, but it just depends on how well that bonus is in there, and we want to use it for the team, right? To deliver magic. We choose places that inspire. Now, we've been to places that have beaches with beautiful sunsets, and really it's just experiences that make you feel alive, and we want to invest in the team to experience what I experienced that night at that steakhouse. Like, we swim in cenotes. We would do parasailing. We laugh, we connect, and every year we talk about one question. How can we make our clients feel what we just felt? So we make this thing about going out on these trips, and we make sure we take time to talk as a team. Hey, how did you feel this trip? Oh man, this was magical, and this. Awesome. How can we make our clients feel what you felt on this trip? And here's the wild thing. When you start delivering magic without expecting anything in return, it always finds its way back to you tenfold. Because people don't just remember what you did, right? It's the old adage. They remember how you made them feel. So we even built this into our company culture. Every team member, right, at Joe Homebuyer, they get a monthly budget to spend only on delivering magic. Let me give an example, right? They don't have to have any permission needed. They don't need any approval forms. Just one rule. Use it to wow someone. And they all have that budget, and they're expected to spend that budget every single month. One of our team members overheard a franchisee, like one of our franchise owners, right? They said, hey, my favorite Joe Homebuyer hat was that one that had this logo on it, right? And he's talking about one of his favorite hats. And it was one that we had like 2 years prior. We make new hats every year, and it's kind of a new logo, new hat that we make every year. So they were all gone. But the person on our team kind of overheard that. She wasn't even the one listening to, like, the one in charge of that phone conversation. She just kind of heard it in the background. She goes back in the storage, and she found one more of that exact hat left. And she mailed it to him, right? To deliver magic with a little handwritten note. That moment, he said it was one of the most special experiences he had ever had as a franchise owner. Think about it. Over making money, over anything out there, he says that was one of his most special experiences. Magic doesn't have to cost thousands, guys. It just requires one thing. You've got to pay attention. The magic is in the details. Another one, for example, a dear friend of mine, Robin Sharma says something that I will always remember. This quote's probably one of my favorite quotes. He says, when was the last time you did something for the first time? I want you to ask yourself that as you're listening to this podcast episode. When was the last time you did something for the first time? That quote's always stuck with me, because if you can live by that question, you'll always stay in touch with the wonder, with the magic. Go ride that hot air balloon. I was able to do that down here in St. George, Utah. You guys, it was magical. It was the first time I'd ever done it, and it was unbelievable. So go ride that hot air balloon, even if you're afraid of heights. Book that once-in-a-lifetime experience. What is it for you? Sit front row, not in the 50th row. And when you do something new, you see life differently. And that's where magic begins. If you're listening and thinking, I want to start, doing something. I want to start to deliver magic. Here's your first step. Tomorrow morning, I want you to think of this. I want you to, when you are sit up in bed, I want you to just swing your feet over, put your feet on the ground, and before you jump to your phone or before you just jump into the day, I want you to just sit on the edge of your bed, and I want you to just ask one question. Who needs me on my A game? Think about that for a minute. If you could just wake up every morning, swing your feet over, touch the ground, you're sitting on the edge of your bed and you say, who needs me on my A game today? And just sit there. Listen to what thoughts come to your mind. Write down the name or names that come to mind. But the bigger part to this is you can't just write down the names. I want you at that moment, act upon it. Maybe it's sending a text. Maybe it's dropping off cookies. Maybe we have a cookie company here. It's called Crumble. Maybe they're a nationwide company. But it's like, maybe it's just sending them with a note that you're just thinking of them. Maybe it's sending a gift. Maybe it's doing something, just something that is making you aware, putting you on your A game for someone today. Don't overthink it. Just act on the prompting, right? And sometimes it doesn't sound logical. It's okay. Just do it. You're doing good. People are going to be wowed by the fact that you're doing these small little details and giving them an opportunity to experience magic. One of my friends, he once told me he wanted to be a deliverer of magic. I just got done hosting this event this weekend, actually, and this is such a near and dear topic to me that I wanted to make sure I did an episode on it. So he tells me after the event, I said, dude, what's one takeaway you got from it? And he says, bro, I really love this concept, this deliverer of magic. And he is thinking he wants to buy a magic wand for his desk to just simply remind him to deliver magic daily. So whenever he's on phone conversations with clients or whenever he's with his kids or whenever he's with his wife, he can look at this magic wand and be like, okay, I'm showing up and I'm going to go be a deliverer of magic. You know what hit me though? And I'm doing this almost as I'm saying this podcast is I'm going to send him one. I'm going to get online and find the coolest little magic wand that he can put on his desk, right? Because magic multiplies when you share it. So guys, here's the truth. Magic doesn't just happen. It's built one intentional act at a time. If you want to live a magical life, stop waiting for it to appear. Start creating it instead. Ask yourself tomorrow morning, who needs me on my A game? Then go do something, however small, that makes that person feel seen, valued, and loved, because that's how you become a deliverer of magic. You listen, you act, you love with intention. And when you live that way, the world can't help but give that magic right back to you in return tenfold. Now, to each of you listening to this podcast, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for making it to the end. I want you to take this invite. Who needs you on your A game right now? And I want you to think in this moment, and I want you to act upon that first prompting, that first idea, that first name that came to your mind, and I want you to go deliver magic to that person right now. Train the brain from the moment you get inspired to the moment you act upon it to be closing the gap so that they are simultaneous. When you get a prompting, you act on it now. You don't say, oh, when I get done with work. Oh, when I get done with folding the clothes. Oh, when I get done with cooking dinner. No. You got prompted right now. You can be a deliverer of magic if you act upon it right now as well. Please, if you haven't now, please subscribe to the podcast. And more importantly, share a 5-star review if this has been something that has touched your life and will do something that will add value to your life. Because in return, this helps this podcast get out there to the masses. Something that I really want to do is make a massive impact with the words that I'm able to share of things that have changed my life. And I want to change so many others' lives with those same things that have helped me in my life. Also, if someone came to your mind as you heard this episode, take a moment. Maybe you could be a deliverer of magic and share this episode with them and see if it changes their lives. Thank you again for being here. Love you, and I will see you on the next episode.